Welcome to the Iron Fist Fistful. I'm Toljar, and today I'm going to be covering over the Eternity Vault on Nightmare. Behind me I'm going to have posted up all the timestamps for the boss fights so you can skip ahead to whatever you want to learn the fights or anything else or see how anything's kind of played through. So sit back and relax because you are about to get fisted. So we're going to start out this fight by running at this dude like a bunch of horny ass water buffalo trying to get to the river. So you're going to go running on up, you got your tank jumping to the dude, you got your freaking healers, your DPS, all those guys running off to the sides acting like a bunch of idiots. But now the fight just started. So how it's going to start off is you're going to have your tank kind of going along, everybody's going to beat the shit out of him, he's going to get all pissed off, be like, oh, proximity alert, stamps the ground, whatever, and everybody around him gets stunned and he knocks back the tank a good couple hundred yards. Now when he does this, the way we approach this is instead of running behind the pillars like a lot of the classic strats say, we go and we actually stack up directly behind him. The reason we have this is because we have a Sage healer and also an AoE Scoundrel healer that are able to keep up with the immense amount of damage that he puts in on his hunker down phase. So for his hunker down phase, what he does, he kind of faces back around where everybody is, and he'll sit there and kind of crunch on down, get all fucking prepped up and ready for it. And what he'll do is just start shooting missiles out of his ass. Now nothing's worse than people shooting missiles out of their ass at you, especially if you aren't expecting it. So you might want to prepare up, get ready to stack up, and start mitigating some damage. So you can actually dodge these, as you can kind of see on my gunslinger. I'm actually able to go and hit my dodge button. He misses a couple times. I use my my defensive screen, everything else on it. Just a little bit of mitigation, something to help out the healers because you are in the missiles harming way. So after the tank gets knocked back, he charges back forward, gets back with everybody, gets AoE healed up. No big deal, right? Fight's over. You are freaking wrong. Nope. So how this is going to go off is now you're going back to your basic rotations, everything else, not a big deal. Every time he knocks back the tank, which he'll randomly do during the fight, he picks the next person, I believe, on the threat list and does this bullshit overcharging shot to them, which will hit you for a moderate amount of damage, but also put a dot on you. Now, there's a way to kind of mitigate this if you are a scoundrel or a gunslinger or anything, if you notice that he's targeting you. You can actually take cover and it'll actually work. He'll hit the cover system on there. You'll mitigate the major portion of the damage on it. However, you'll still take the dot damage. Another part of this fight that you already probably know about is going to be the missile salvo that he does. So he'll go and randomly during the fight, he'll go and start shooting missiles down from the sky at everybody. You have a target ready kill under your foot. You just got to make sure you avoid this stuff. This is like the good old classic musical chairs game. But you don't want to get caught on the chair this time because then you're having to kiss the fat girl. So what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of run around. Normally it's only about 3 or so that'll end up underneath you. After that you can kind of resume the DPS. So, just kind of go run around like a bunch of idiots. Once you're done, get back to your positions, do what the hell you got to do. No big deal. So the fight for the most part after that is just a rinse and repeat. He's going to knock back your tank, shoot someone, go to cover if you're a scoundrel or a gunslinger. He'll stomp the ground, knock back the tank again, do his missile, freaking shoot missiles out of his ass and everything, and then also the missile salvo. Not a big deal. He will also have that one targeting attack where he'll randomly pick someone, put a giant ass targeting laser on them. If they're standing in your group and blow you up in Nightmare, still this far within the game, you need to kick them out of there because that's just bullshit. At this point in time, if you're in a Nightmare mode, you are not supposed to fuck up like that. So if you get that targeting ridicule, get the hell out of there. No big deal. So the big part on this is at 10%. So at 10%, he does his little stomp on the ground. Now it's a burn phase. This is actually pretty easy if you have a pretty good chunk of DPS on here. So what we like to do is, since I'm a gunslinger, I have the ability to create an AoE, not really an AoE, an area effect, yeah, I guess, hell, it's an AoE, that reduces all damage taken by all attacks by 20%. So we all go, get back on his ass again, and stack inside there, AoE heals up, and then I'll put up my little screen, and boom, all damage pretty much mitigated, and we can nuke down the boss. Now, the boss at about 1% or so stands straight up like a, I don't even know what the hell he does, just stands straight up and he dies. After that, you loot the body and continue on to Gharj. And now we are on to Gharj. Gharj is the next boss in this fight. He's kind of a pissed off, on fire dog, demon, beast, horned animal of doom that wants to kick your ass. This fight has the same exact mechanics as every other previous fight you can ever imagine with this boss. It's kind of a very linear fight that really doesn't mean shit. So the way you're going to kind of approach this fight, of course, is the tank jumps on him and you move him off to the side. So there's only really 3 things you have to pay attention on this entire fight. Number one is when he does pulverizing slam, which knocks everybody back off, you need to take and make sure your dumbass isn't freaking have your back facing the waterfall. You land in that, it's an instant kill. I can't even count how many times we've had people die because they were standing right there. So make sure you are not there. Number two, you can resume DPS when he is in his frenzy phase if you're a ranged person, essentially. All you have to do is kind of move towards the back or anything else where you're just out of range of his attacks. Continue to lay down some missile salvo on him, kick his ass and everything, but be ready to pull aggro at that. It's one of those things that the first frenzy, typically you don't want to do that just because when he gets on the next platform, you've kind of exceeded the DPS meters and now his ass is on to you. So normally you want to do that after about the second platform, third platform, and so on and so forth. It does help if you have a threat dump and if you have a sorcerer or a sage that can pull you over to dump that threat for you. So, and the third big thing you need to watch out for is the fact that you are surrounded by lava. Holy shit, people, lava. What does this do to you? It fucking hurts. So, it doesn't do an immense amount of damage right away, but the longer you stand there, the quicker you die, so on and so forth. So, I'm going to give you all a little trick that maybe you did not know, maybe you did know, so on and so forth. So, scoundrels and gunslingers, snipers, operatives, whatever the hell you are doing, you have this beautiful little thing called the cover system that you can use at any time. Scoundrels and operatives, you'll kind of, just kind of sit down there like a retard and be like, oh, I got a gun. And the gunslingers and everything else will have a shield that will project up. If you are in the cover system or using it, when pulverizing slam happens, you will not get knocked off. Instead, your character falls flat on his ass, shakes it off, and begins the fight again. So that's a little tip for you to avoid some of that lava damage and to also stop, if you're the healer or so, from getting so far away from your tank that you can't heal him afterwards. So, into the mechanics of the fight itself. So, Gharj himself is going to be, kind of doing his little jumping up, cleave attacks, everything else. So your tank is going to have him facing away from the raid group just so they don't have to take damage that isn't needed. Every now and then he will jump in the air with pulverizing slam, knocking people off the backside. You just run back forward and you're good to go. Then he also has a little dealio where he'll just do random AoE damage, no big deal. Melee takes it, whatever, heal him up through it. Again, the fight is the same exact wash fight that it has been since normal mode, hard mode, and also including the nightmare mode. Nothing really changes the amount of damage that happens. And finally, he's going to have his frenzy. So at 50% when he starts doing his frenzy, so initially he does that 10% and kind of so on and so forth on there. He normally does about 5 platform hops before he goes in rage. However, at 50% every time he does his frenzy, he'll start to call his dogs. The easiest thing to do with these things, because in Nightmare they don't hurt for shit, is just let them kind of attack people and just bounce from your platform to platform, kill them as needed. Once you get to the final platform, of course, that's when you finish off the whole entire encounter on that. So just make sure that Pulverize and Slam you don't get knocked back into the waterfall. It's pretty much just a wash fight. Just go from platform to platform, frenzy, Pulverize and Smash, ignore all that, and you'll be good to go. Nice little happy camper. The next boss in this dungeon, I don't even consider a boss. As a matter of fact, I consider it a giant waste of time, and I hope that BioWare never puts a fight like this in the game ever again. I don't care how quickly you get loot. It is the puzzle boss. So, with this boss right here, you need to essentially line up 4 pillars with the same exact color, all on each side, till it gets to the top, locks it up, boom, you loot your chest and get on out of here. So, I'll show you the order that everything goes in. If you look right up here behind me, you'll see that it goes, blah, color, so on and so forth. The colors never change in the order they spin on the wheel. Only thing that changes is the colors as they're lined up on the side. The easiest way, since it has been buggy, is to have self lock in everything first. We did have issues with it bugging out initially. I believe they said that they fixed it. However, it still bugs out every now and then. The easiest way to fix that, make sure your south group solves their puzzle first, and then your north, and so on and so forth. Once you get all 4 of them, the fight stops, whatever, you're good to go. If you get up to the point where you're summoning 3 of those Acklys, or whatever the hell they are, get ready to fight, because those fucking things hurt. Best way to deal with them is just stun them out. So that would be that fight right there, nothing too big to it. The next fight in the Nightmare Eternity Vault is the solo, the random guy fight. I normally take the Sister of Sorrow off to the side just because, I don't know, I've had her since day 1. But healers will have a target that has low health but hits moderately hard, so that way they're able to heal through it. Tanks will have guys with a moderate amount of health on there. They hit whatever, not a big deal. And then the DPS will have a guy that hits extremely weak but has a bunch of health. All you have to do is burn it down. Now the trick to this one is use all your abilities that do damage. You know, if you have your orbital strike or your excess freighter flyby or anything else like that, just use it. Just don't do AoEs to the point where you're hitting somebody else's shit. You've done this on normal mode and you've done it on hard mode, and now you're doing it on nightmare mode. There's no reason you should be attacking somebody else's or healing someone during your fight. Once you get done, you have one opportunity to do your biggest attack to someone else's target to end up killing it or helping them out with it or so. I normally like to follow up with a good old trick shot or something like that, or quick shot, something that kind of does moderate amount of damage, even a snipe. However, in this video I screwed up and did just a basic attack. But whatever, do what you gotta do and figure it out. This now brings us to the final fight in Eternity Vault Nightmare, Princess Soa. So, this dude's all pissed off because he's been sleeping in this stupid ass prison for however long and meets Bubba every night for a nice intimate session. However, now that you're on him, it's kind of a little more difficult than it is on hard mode and on normal mode. By difficult, I mean that if your group is not competent enough to blow up their lightning balls or to run away from someone that's going to get exploded by a lightning ball because they're not paying attention, you're freaking screwed. So, this encounter kind of starts off the basic way it always has. You're going to go and you're going to have Soa sitting in the middle. Everybody's going to rush on in and DPS them as hard as they can down to 75% health. Avoid the green shit on the outside because, hey, it's not a big deal. It doesn't do shit to you anyway. Just kind of stand out of it. Otherwise, it does kind of hurt over time. Once that happens, we like to run to the west. West all the time. If you're not running west, you're dumb. Don't run to the east side, whatever else. Just go straight west. Easiest way to do it. You know it's where the entrance is and so on and so forth. So he gets all pissed off, floats in the air, and starts dropping platforms all over the damn place. So all you gotta do is jump down and kill these little ass circles that are on there and just keep going. Once you get 5 of them, he loses his buff. That's gonna cause him to do this big ass AoE attack that doesn't hurt until he gets up to 3 buffs anyway. So what you're going to do is you're going to jump down, whatever, you get down to the middle level. So on the middle level, this is where shit starts hitting the fan. Immediately after he drops on there, he's going to do a mine trap. So whoever's in the mine trap, just kill the guy that's inside of it. It's not a big deal. I mean, if you kill him, you get a heal buff. If you don't kill him, who gives a shit? He doesn't hurt anyway. But he's going to summon someone into that mine trap. You just attack it and then get back on the boss. However, on hard mode and on nightmare, you are now having 2 balls coming at your face. It's only gay if the balls touch, so just keep them separated. Nobody dies. No big deal. The way that we end up doing this is we all stack in front of the boss. The reason that we do this is because right when the balls come up, we have the top name on there go left and the bottom name on it go right. And so that way you kind of break off from the group and you know where to go. If it's on a tank or so, typically the tank waits till the last second to jump out, so you can kind of run straight, figure out what ball's coming at you, intercept it, blow it up, and you'll be perfectly fine. So, with that phase, between killing the mine traps, which are priority, make sure that you get those mine traps down, DPSing the boss, and avoiding your balls, which is ironic, I know, but you don't want to touch your balls during this fight, so, 2 hands on the keyboard at all time. Blow them up real quick, wait till you have a sorcerer or a sage shield on you, or if you have a personal ability that mitigates damage, such as assassins and shadows, having one that completely mitigates all damage that they pretty much get hit by. Pop those, that way you reduce as much damage, get back in the fight, and you'll be pretty well off to go. After that, he gets all pissed off, starts floating in the air and tossing shit at you or at the platforms again, trying to, obviously it didn't work the first fucking time, but hey, let's do it again, see if we can kill people. Although I have seen people fall off. I did it actually last week and kind of wiped us on one of our last attempts for the time run. But whatever, no big deal. Sorry, Atan. Anyway, so you're going to be going and jumping on down more platforms, killing these little ass orbs and these triangles, no big deal, you land on the bottom. So this is where the fun really happens, because everything you've done all the way up from the first phase, minus the shit that's on the sides, which I think they probably should have did in Nightmare, almost like a Defile thing from World of Warcraft, just to kind of enhance the fight a little bit, just to make it a little more fucked up. But anyway, you're going to be avoiding more lightning balls that will typically come at you when the pillar drops on his head, and you also have to worry about killing the mine traps. So this whole part's a clusterfuck. You can't attack the boss until you actually get the pillar drop on his head, as you probably already all know. I would hope so, at least. The whole point of the lightning balls on Nightmare mode is to kick your ass that much quicker. So if you don't have full health, or you are not actually at don't have a shield or anything to deflect, you're going to get screwed. One of the things I forgot to mention actually back in phase 3, 4, 5, I don't even remember anymore because there's so many damn phases of this fight, he will toss you up in the air. One of the worst things that he can possibly do is he will hit your ass with a lightning ball, and the second you get hit with it, he'll fucking toss you right up in the air like a dumbass, and you're already down to 40% health. Well, it normally does about 45% of your health while you're bouncing around fucking smacking your face into the walls and stuff. Make sure after you get hit by a lightning ball, just fucking pop a med pack or something. Just hit it real quick, get your health back up. That way you're not flying around the air and you're going to be the dumbass that dies when you land. Anyway, back into phase 5. So in phase 5, he's going to be, you're going to have your tank dragging him around the room underneath these pillars, you know, do your most damage, so on and so forth. You need to make sure that you kill those mine traps ASAP. You need everybody out at all times. Healers, when his ass is down on his knees, like good old Bill Clinton, you need to have your ass doing damage too. This fight is essentially a DPS race once you get onto the bottom. 3 pillars and he enrages. After that, the next pillar that he drops is going to kill your tank and so on and so forth. So the fight doesn't change too much after that, so there you go. That would be Soa, and that would be Nightmare EV. That was everything with Nightmare EV from beginning to end. Thank you for joining us on Iron Fist Fistful, and you have just been fisted.